Sanchez?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your questions, Dr. Walker. Is it in your financial interest that we do this refunding?
Is it in
Your financial interest that we do this refunding?
PFM's financial interest? Well, we do get paid. I mean, for doing the transaction, there's, all the professionals get paid for doing these transactions. So,
We
yeah.
can count on you. Can we count on you for the objective advice?
Yeah, we are the school district's fiduciary agent, so the things that we recommend and put on the table are in the best interest for the school district. That's correct.
So would it be in our financial best interest to do the refunding now, or should we wait until the call date?
Given the volatility in the market, our key responsibility is to make sure that you're lined up to execute at the earliest possible time. Unfortunately, we just don't know where the interest rates are going. So we like to get everything ready, and if you are able to do it at that earliest opportune time, that's what we recommend. I mean, we obviously can't make an interest rate call where things are going to go. Hindsight's always 20/20. I think over the years, as the district kind of borrowed money for capital projects as you needed, kind of like dollar cost averaging, as you entertain refundings based on market conditions, I think everything has worked out well for the school district, very well. Again, to the tune of almost $13 million of savings. You just never know what's going to happen in the market. I mean, we've seen the market turn very, very quickly, where on a Monday things look great. By Wednesday, rates have gone up 10, 15, 20 basis points, and they kind of keep going up. So that's where, again, it's our job to make sure you're ready at the first opportune time. You could pass, if you wanted to move forward, still say in January, you could adopt a parameters resolution that would basically be all the legal documents that would be necessary. Your bond counsel could file those with the state. It would still have the floor in there of $200,000, but upon your direction, we could try to wait a month or two before we actually did the pricing. Again, we just don't know how that would end up for the school district. Could be perfectly fine, but in our eyes, it's a risk, and risk can go both ways. They can turn out better for the school district, or could turn out worse for the school district.
And what will your fee be for this bond?
I think it'd be probably very similar to fees in the past for other similar transactions. I mean, we can get that for you, but we always break those out for the bond sale. So whenever we come back for the actual sale, we would always have everything broken out.
Yeah, I was curious because my very first bond sale, all the way back in 2011 now, the fee was $33,000, and then it went down to $23,000, and then it went up to $24,000, and then I'm sorry. It was 33, and then 23, and then 28, and then just from February to August went up to 30, which was like a 6% interest or a 6% increase. So I was just hoping that you could, basically I would, even on the board that we should ask for a reduction in the fee, not only for PFM, but also for bond counsel, as their fees have been kind of mirroring that same pattern. If we would go ahead with this.
Well, we're happy to make an adjustment. I mean, typically the fees are a factor of the amount of time put into the transaction, but we can certainly discuss with your administration of some sort of adjustment. We just don't know until we get closer to time based on the amount of work that is involved in the deal.
And then I have to say that in column number 6 on page 3, I have been so looking forward to having this paid off at the end of 2016, and now to take that and bundle it into something else.
It would still be paid off at the same. It would still be paid off at the same time.
Still paid off at the
Yep.
same time.
Yeah, we are not extending any debt at all. Basically, we're bundling them to save on fees, because right now you're paying agent fees on each one of your transactions. So by bundling, you're not changing the amortization, you're not changing the payoff, and you're actually saving a little bit of additional money.
Whenever we've done a refunding, we've never extended the indebtedness of the district as far as time or amount. We've always kept it in place, but by getting lower interest rates, we save the district and the taxpayers therefore interest costs.
So, these will go until no later than 2029.
It would go to the same exact maturities of where they mature now.
Okay, 2024, okay.
Which is kind of one of the tests that we need to do to Mr. Ballard's comment. One thing that we need to look at closely to meet all the IRS tests is to make sure that we're not increasing the weighted average maturity. We got to compare the weighted average maturity of the new deal to the weighted average maturity of the 3 deals or 4 deals that we're combining. We have to be less than that, either same or less, to meet these certain tests. So, again, we look very closely to make sure we're not extending the debt.
That's it for now.
Any other discussion on the motion? Mr. Knox?
I've only been on the board a year, and this is the 3rd time we've done this, and I just want to publicly acknowledge the work that you've done for our district and the money that you've saved us, and I look forward to saving some more money. Thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you.
Other discussion on the motion? Ms. Sanchez?
I just have a question. I know that we have a legal counsel here. What is the difference between what the legal counsel who's in the audience does and what the solicitor does for us?
The bond counsel specializes in financial transactions, whereas our solicitor specializes in municipal and school law. Is that a fair way to summarize it?
I think it is, but well, basically, there's 3 bodies of law that go into a bond issue. There's basically the state law, that the school code, and what's known as the Local Government Unit Debt Act. It's the body of law that any entity with taxing power has to comply with in order to incur debt. So that's those laws. Then there's the federal tax laws governing any issuance of indebtedness where the lender does not pay income tax on the interest it receives, which again is one of the reasons for the low interest rates in the bond issue. There's myriad requirements on that. And then there's also the federal securities laws. These are publicly offered securities. They're available to be bought and sold in the secondary market, requirements for those. So basically, those are areas of law that we get involved with that typically the solicitor does not. On the other hand, and then we ultimately render the legal opinion that the bond is not enforceable under those laws and the interest is free of tax. Likewise, the solicitor is required to render a legal opinion in any bond issue as to local matters. The proper people have acted, all the necessary authorizations have been accomplished, and so forth. We end up relying on the solicitor's opinion in part to rendering our opinion. And it's typically a requirement of the underwriter who's bidding for the bonds that both those opinions are provided. So part of and you talked about fees, it's basically time and risk being somewhat dictated by the size of the financing. So sometimes that plays into it as well.
Further discussion on the motion? Oh, we have a motion. Have we? We have a motion? Okay. Just questions on the presentation. We have a motion then.